Hey guys, Saturday, March 22nd of 2025. Let's see what the Black Widow wants to do this week coming up. So far, the weather is indicating low demand for March 20th through the 26th. Weather systems will track across the eastern and western U.S. with rain, snow, and highs of between 30s and 60s. The rest of the U.S. will be near to warmer versus normal with highs of upper 50s and 80s. A mix of slightly cool weather systems and warmer breaks will continue next week with highs of 30s and 50s with weather systems, otherwise 50s and 80s. Overall, light demand most of the next 7 days. So very light demand. Looking at our commitments of traders report, this is retail. And retail has been long since December 23rd, 2024. They've just been buying the dips and going long. Large speculators, as of the 27th of January, they have been going short, making lower highs and lower lows. And so far, they're around minus 123 as of the 17th. Now, keep in mind that the 17th was this Monday. We're here Saturday. So the 17th is reporting all of last week, all of this. Nothing here. We don't know what they're doing here or what they did this week. All we know is that maybe they reverse, but so far they are very, very short. Looking at commercial, you can see the commercial failed new low, and now they're hedging. So they are buying nat gas as it goes lower. So this is not a good sign if you are bullish. You want to see commercial selling and hedging while nat gas is going up. As nat gas is going down or semi down to sideways, commercial are buying it. Large speculators are shorting it, commercial are buying it, and retail is going long. They're going with the commercial. Looking at our technicals and signals, we are in a total of -2. Commitments of traders report, it's a little negative, and that's just because large speculators are shorting and commercial are buying, so there's a little negative bias. Seasonality wise, it's positive. Remember, it was flat before. The hourly signal is positive. The 4-hour is negative. So they're against each other right here. In regards to signals of mine that I use, the 1 hour on the regards to the technical is -1, and the 4-hour is negative twice. The daily spectrum cycle is negative. It peaked on February the 20th. So it's negative. The weekly spectrum cycle is still up. The daily technicals now has been cracking. It's -1, but the weekly and the monthly are intact, but at 1. And this trend is still bullish. This is updated as of today. We are currently on the daily chart on a wave 5. And the Gann target I have, and this is way to the upside, will be 588. This is assuming that the wave 5 is probably much higher. This is one price that I am watching. We'll be looking at the Black Widow natural cycles tomorrow, so I'm going to break this video into 2 parts. This is all kind of the under the hood, the technicals, the signals, and images of traders report, a little bit of weather, just to kind of see if we're going to have any demand or anything like that. To kind of get a overall picture. But we'll be looking at this tomorrow. This one is a good one, so you need to watch it. There's a lot of statistics, a lot of the days that we'll be watching. What could be maybe bullish or using high probability or bearish. In regards to seasonality, just to give you a little peek, we're going to go to 5 years worth of data on average. Percent of months in which nat gas closed higher than it opened from 2021 to 2025. Using 5 years, look what jumps out at you. April. April is pretty strong. And then is August. You can see May, June, July is flat. And we're kind of like right here, around 398. So if this is going to play out, you got to watch price action. Looking 10 years. March is kind of flat, but then April gets this nice bump. And we want to be aware of that. Using 15 years of data, you can say March is a little flat. That's where we're at right now, but look at April. What could cause this seasonality-wise? I don't know, but interesting. I've always remembered April and August being always strong. Does it have to play out? No, not necessarily, but this is what the data is showing on average. 20 years of data. March is flat, kind of sideways, but then April gets this nice bump. You can see that August now kind of pulled in. If you go 10 years ago, you see April and August. So let's keep an eye on April. Let's see price action, if it's going to continue pushing higher. I mean, so far it's holding at $4, the 135 degree, and the square 9. So it hasn't really even taken out the 90 degree, which is 391. So it's hanging in there. It's hanging in there. And for those that don't know what I'm even talking about, 391 is the 90 degree right here. We kind of go around 396, 394, but we're kind of hovering around right here. And it's always the end of April. So if we were to push, at the end of March, we were to get into April and get across 411 and into 421, then things are going to start looking good into 431, 441, and eventually get all the way to 490, which is somewhere around right here. We got to go all the way around to get here to test that March 10th high. So this is where the goal is, and maybe even push higher. Once we get above 490, then we're looking at, a high probability of a higher wave 5 in regards to Elliott wave theory. So talking about Elliott wave theory, let's go check out Elliott wave theory, see what's cooking there. Okay, so this is our Elliott wave theory. Let's see if we can clean this up over here. So this is the 21st. This is what typically Black Widow does, somewhere around here, the 24th. It kind of makes it low, so it looks like it pushes lower into Monday, kind of sideways, and then lastly, 402, it kind of makes its final low and then rallies into April. So remember April being strong? This is another data set that backs that up. So there's a confirmation that April is typically strong, but that sometimes the Black Widow doesn't do exactly what, she typically does in the past. So who knows, since we're in a wave 5 up here, things will like break down instead of going up. But we're going to go with the bias that, April is a strong month. So we got to see that we can make higher highs and higher lows from here. What that means that we'll have to take out 490. 490 would be all the way up here. This is closed. At least we got to take out 448. But keep an eye on the second. And for those that don't know, what is April the 3rd? I don't know if you've been trading natural gas for a long time. I haven't, but I do research when I trade an instrument first before I start trading it. April 3rd is the date of birth of nat gas, the DOB. So it's going to be Nat Gat's birthday, April 3rd. Now I got to make sure because I got so much information in my head. I got to make sure that's right, but I believe that it's right. And if it's wrong, when I do my part 2, I'll correct it. But I'm leaning that April 3rd is the Nat Gas birthday. It's going to be interesting. Why? Because looks like she likes to rip higher on her birthday. So let's see if that's going to play out, So keep that on watch. And up here, this is, for those that are new in my channel, this is an inverse of what naturally happens. And sometimes you can see that this is what she typically does. This is an inverse, and this is what she did with the inverse. And then kind of pulled in, went up, while started following what naturally she does. And then over here, then it started following it here. So now for this week, it looks like it's kind of sideways with a slight bias to the downside, either sideways to lower until the second. So let's look at our targets here. We got linear regression on the shorter, time frame pointing down. Here's some targets to the downside. Anywhere between the 373, 370, all the way to 366. Here is the ellipse around 359 if it's going to push even lower. And if it doesn't go lower and from here it rips on Monday and it opens higher, this is a target to the upside. So this is for the bulls. 458 to 461 all the way to 464. Somewhere in this sweet spot here. You can see the ellipse technique, volatility increased, popped, went to 424, pulled back. And now we're here. Stokes are negative. Cycles, fractal cycles are down. MACD is negative. I think it's just kind of quiet, choppy here. So far, Stokes are negative. In regards to turning point, the one that's coming up will be 4-4. So we know 4-3 is her birthday, and 4-4 is a possible turning point using this indicator. So that's all leaning that it's going to either go sideways to lower. You have an interesting date here on the 27th. Keep an eye on. So as of right now, the bias is to the downside, but tomorrow's video, I'm going to show you some things that also could reflect that maybe it could pop from here. But we'll see. It's very tricky right here. So there's two camps. There's the bears that are going to push it lower, and then there's the camp where it turns here and goes higher. This is like a correction and it goes higher. Anything else for me to show? Let's see. The Gann stuff. No, I don't have any Gann stuff here. It's pretty much simple. You got this key level here around 381 as support. So far we're right here. So that's the strongest support right there. I think I'll leave it there. Stay tuned for tomorrow. That's more the Gann stuff. This is just kind of technicals. And tomorrow is more geometry, more the natural cycles, and you get to see some statistics for tomorrow, for this week, and just see how it's gonna play out. I was long Friday and then closed it because I didn't want to hold a position for Sunday night's open. I didn't want it to be a gap down because there were some things showing that it could push lower Sunday night or gap down and then eventually kind of turn. So it's all going to depend on the open for Sunday night to see how this is all going to play out. But I'll leave it at that. This is good enough information for you, especially if you're Elliott way guys, and then you're looking at some seasonality, looking at commitments of traders report, and then looking at the weather and see where we're heading to this week. And then tomorrow we'll wrap it up with a lot of the other stuff that I look at. I'm going to sign out. Hopefully you have enjoying your beautiful day, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on Nat Gas.